So a couple of videos ago, I created my own superhero characters. This Yeti gorilla guy, as well as this speedster character and also this cyborg. And no, I haven't thought of names for any of these characters yet, but someone commented suggesting Breeze for the speedster guy, which I really liked, but let me know if you guys have any other ideas. Oh, as well as Sam for the cyborg. I quite like that one too. But in today's video, I'm going to be creating supervillains for these guys to go up against. So step number 1 is to get inspired. The first thing I did was scrolled on Pinterest, got ideas, and I made a board with all the ideas that I liked. And then I went onto the video where I created these superheroes and I looked through the comments because you guys had great suggestions. Someone said that I should include this orc that I drew ages ago, so I'm going to make him one of the villains, I think, too. On to step number 2, it's time to sketch out some of my ideas. So between scrolling on Pinterest and looking at your comments, I basically have 3 main ideas. Now, the first one is like this orc character that I designed ages ago where he has this big sword, and someone was commenting saying something about making a villain with some type of enchanted weapons. So I'm gonna say this guy's got some kind of power like that where he can, I don't know, enchant his sword and have some powers like maybe some firepower or lightning or something like that. I'm going to be designing 3 different villains in this video, and I think 2 of them definitely came out more as minions for the last guy, who was by far my favorite, and I can't wait for you guys to see him. So another idea that someone commented was for the big gorilla guy that I should make a kind of big lizard guy to go against him. I guess a bit of a Godzilla King Kong thing. So I was just messing around with how I could design a lizard. I wanted him to have this massive beefy neck like a big monitor lizard, and he kind of reminds me of the Hulk too, like big, jacked up. I ended up giving him some shorts like the Hulk as well. So these are the first 2 pages of just basic ideas that I sketched out. You can see the guy with glasses there. He's going to be an evil scientist. I think he's definitely going to be in charge out of these 3. Now that we have some basic ideas, it's time for step number 3, which is to refine these ideas. So first up, I wanted to work on this evil scientist character. Now, I was trying to think of a character that could counter the speedster, and I thought a really clever villain was the way to go because he can be setting traps, he can have bombs set to go off that are distraction or other stuff like that. For his design, I was inspired by like Rick from Rick and Morty and also Zeke from Attack on Titan, the way he has his beard and the glasses. I kind of combined these 2 things together and I think his design came out pretty cool. I actually really like it. I think this guy, like I said, he's definitely the leader. The other 2 guys are definitely his minions. I picture this guy being like some kind of Lex Luthor, like rich scientist, clever guy who has all these gadgets. And I haven't really thought of a story with these characters, but he probably definitely wants to experiment on the heroes. Alright, next up it's time to sketch out the ideas for another villain, and next up we're going to be sketching out the orc with the massive anime looking sword, you know, the like berserk sword. While I was designing him, I had the idea of like having chains or some kind of chain or rope around his arm that is attached to the like hilt of the sword, so he can kind of swing it about, maybe swing it through, you know, buildings or whatever is around when he's fighting someone. I think I definitely got the idea from Kratos from God of War and how he has those swords chained to him. I was thinking about making him like really big and fat, but I thought I wanted to keep him more lean. Like, he is pretty huge and muscular, but I didn't want to make him over the top fat. I did another side profile drawing because I really liked the one I did for the scientist, and I messed around with different hairstyles. Originally I had this kind of shaved head with a ponytail, but I ended up switching it for like a mohawk, which I think turned out a lot cooler. I also moved his bottom jaw so it was kind of sticking out a little bit more. I probably would make it even more exaggerated going forward. Next up, it's time for the big lizard character. I kept this design very similar to the sketches that I made because I really liked the overall anatomy that I went for with him, with the neck and the tail. I did experiment with what shape should I make his face, and also what kind of markings I wanted to have on him, because I wanted him to be basically like 2 tones of colors with a kind of like underbelly on his front and then a darker color going around it, because I looked at a lot of pictures of lizards and stuff like that. But it was pretty hard to actually pick a color scheme for this guy. I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with what I did go for. So there we have the refined ideas for all 3 of the characters. Like I said, I think the orc and the lizard guy are definitely minion material, but the scientist guy is pretty cool. evil genius. He's a proper supervillain. I really want to make a comic of him fighting the heroes. Now that step number 3 is complete, it's time for the fourth and final step of this video, and that is making the final drawings of these characters. So first up, I went for the orc character. I went for the same pose as the original drawing that I used for inspiration that I made a couple years ago. I thought it just looked really cool with the sword going over his shoulder. Pretty menacing pose for a villain. By the way, I really want to make more videos creating original characters, but I'm not sure exactly what to make, so comment like what you guys want to see, where like if it's videos of me drawing villains fighting the heroes, or like world building videos about like creating a comic book universe or something like that, like where the superhero team trains or stays, or you know, anything. Just let me know what ideas you guys have. So I went for quite a bright shade of green for his skin. I used another green for a bit of shading, a slightly darker green. Very comic booky, you know, like my style. So the idea with this character is that obviously he's super strong and he's got this sword that, say, I'm thinking he has some kind of magical powers with it and it's enchanted, so maybe it can shoot lightning or flames or something like that, just to make him a bit more powerful and a bit more interesting. It's super hard to come up with these villains and try make like original ideas. It was also super hard with the superheroes, but I guess it's a bit easier after creating them, because then you can just kind of try think of characters for them to go up against, which, not gonna lie, I think I probably could have done a better job with. Apart from the scientist, I think he's a really good one. When I was inking this one, I thought it would be cool to give him these big like black makeup around his eyes to make him look a bit more menacing and evil, and I think it came out pretty cool. And then after I was done inking it, when I was gonna do an outline for him, I thought at first to add these kind of like flames around the sword, just to kind of show what I was saying earlier, where he's got this kind of magical enchanted sword. And then I did end up giving him an outline as well, which I think did look pretty good actually. Next up, it's on to evil minion number 2, the lizard guy. I think this guy, the design is pretty cool. I think there's definitely potential. I'm not sure if I like the colors I picked. You guys can let me know what you think of it. I went for a very similar pose again to what I sketched. I changed it a little bit, but I thought it just looked really good with him facing to the side to show off his kind of long face. For the markings, I was trying to replicate what I saw on a picture of like some kind of lizard that lived in the desert, but I think it came out too like aquatic looking, if that makes sense. Like it looks like it's so sharp, it looks like something some kind of shark or something would have. So if I draw this guy again, I think I'm going to mess around with changing his color scheme and changing the designs of the patterns I gave him. I used this really light greenish yellow for the lighter color on him, and then a green gray for the dark, which it kind of works, but I don't know, he looks like a crocodile or something, which isn't exactly what I was going for. I don't know. Honestly, the orc and this lizard guy aren't my favorites, but the next one I think came out really cool. So when I was inking, I just made his shorts pretty clean and black and gave him some shadows, and then just went in with the fine liner, adding a bit more detail. So there we have the second minion of this video. I think he's alright, just not my best work. Okay, last up, we've got the evil scientist. Now, for this drawing, I wanted to give him a really harsh shadow to make him look really creepy and like some kind of horror villain. I think some of you guys will think I was probably inspired by the Void from Thunderbolts, but actually I was kind of inspired by Jujutsu Kaisen and this panel of Yuji, the main character, when he's fighting one of the curses. So I think this guy came out great as a supervillain. He's got a very intimidating silhouette with the little goggles shining. It's very creepy. I want him to be this super like sadistic, you know, ruthless scientist that is always inventing new gadgets and gear to fight the heroes with, you know, always a few steps ahead of them and trapping them. Maybe the orc and the lizard are people that he experimented on that now he's using to try take out these heroes that he's after. I think I went a bit too grey with the colours of the lab coat, although it is shaded. I'll probably change that in the future. I absolutely love the red goggles though. I was thinking of maybe making them green or yellow or even orange, but I think red came out the best. I also really like his hair and the silhouette it like has. I think it looks really cool. Now, when I was inking this one, it all started coming together. I mean, I think this black shadow cast upon him just looks so great. I mean, it's like intriguing, you know, you don't see his face. I think this one turned out so good, and honestly, he's the first real supervillain of the video. I mean, I just imagine him being so much more powerful, you know, creating crazy tech to fight bombs, just anything. I decided to make a couple little drawings of his face on the left and the right of the page just to show some more detail. I wanted to do this one like the rough idea I sketched out because I think he looks really angry in it, and I don't know, I just like it. And I wanted to show off the detail of his beard as well because you don't really capture that in the silhouette. I also really wanted to redraw the side profile because I really like the way the beard kind of sticks out a little bit and the wild hair all over the place. Again, I don't think I should have used the greys in the lab suit, or maybe I shouldn't have used the blues. I don't know, it kind of clashes with the hair a bit. I'll figure it out though. There we have the last supervillain of this video, definitely my favourite. Let me know which one do you guys like and what ideas you have. I did see some comments while I was editing this video. Someone was saying I should make a hunter to go against the gorilla guy, which I think is also a cool idea. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you also want to see videos where it's maybe building out this comic book universe I'm creating a bit, or doing some kind of like comic strip where it's the villain fighting my heroes. I think something like that could be cool. Last thing I want to do is shout out Kablooey, who posted a drawing of my superheroes, which I'll put up now. You really crushed it, man. I loved seeing this. It was so awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching.